Okay, so here I'm going to do a little mini unexpected return to Hearthstone just to open up my Gimmick decks, where the sort of mini series I was trying to do with this after my Gimmick deck gauntlet was to try to play the underplayed classes like Rogue I missed out on, and then Death Knight and Demon Hunter just because they're newer and I never really played them much. But I'm going to, I guess, hold that off till the end of time because I skipped Rogue in the original part where I was trying to do the underplayed classes like with Priest and Rogue, but then I just skipped Rogue for some reason. So whatever, but we'll just open up the ability to play any of these gimmicks at any time. And what makes me want to stay on top of this is just the fact that I want that other Ner'Zhul now that's about to come out, which I assume isn't out yet because I looked at it just now. I was playing GTA 5, but then eventually he discovered that some souls could never be saved. Purchasable when available in the shop, which it was sort of announced around the 18th. This is something I just keep staying paranoid about. That's not quite the Ner'Zhul in the armor, but I still am willing to get it. So like, I don't think it's part of this. Right. And I probably wouldn't buy it anyway, even if it was, but I assume it's just not out yet. Or in what capacity they really want it, like 2 random legendary cards and more. Immediately grants Ysera a card back, which isn't even that good considering the significance of Ysera. But no, this is at least a good premise for the next expansion. In fact, I'm confused. What was I just... What am I missing? Is this the mini set or is this the... If Emerald Dream is the next set, what about the StarCraft one that they were talking about? Or maybe that was the mini set. I'm so confused because I haven't played lately, so I wouldn't even know. But I was kind of clowning that, like, oh yeah, you know what happens when Blizzard combines other IPs into a game, right? It always goes badly because they, you know, Tavern Tickets, Tavern Brawl, Ysera, Hero Skin, which really doesn't look all that good considering the dragon thing. I'm actually glad, right? I'm kind of worried, right? I would rather it not be here just so I can avoid it. But no, what did I miss with the whole StarCraft thing? Great Dark Beyond. Oh, it must have been part of the mini set because it kind of fits a little bit with, you know, this whole space aspect. I guess I just didn't really understand it. StarCraft mini set. I don't spoil stuff about StarCraft, like I'm particular about that because I've never played it. So that would be one of those series to save. Kind of like how I saved Diablo all those years because I don't like the Diablo genre. I wouldn't even say I don't like RTS, I'm just not good at it because I'm one of those people who likes to take my time. That, you know, this is back on again, even though I was so excited when I finally got it. I got that little Jaina Frozen roleplay one, right, where she's like Elsa or whatever. So none of these are the thing. Like I literally would play this just for that reason alone. Like I'll simp for Ner'Zhul just because whatever, dude. That's like the one character that I really wanted, and it's still not quite the right one, but it's close. Like I can accept it. What the hell is this even? Yeah, that's not a bad idea though for the next expansion. With respect to what is this? Battlecry summon 2, 3, 4 zealots with charge. Your Protoss minions cost 2 less this game. It's gonna be all like insular stupid mechanics too. Like relaunch every starship. Like I don't know how I feel about this. Summon 2 2/5 Hive Queens. Deal 3 damage to all enemies. It just feels like a desperate kind of thing, right? Like you don't need to do that, but it's very, very dumb of them. Let's just play until I lose with this Evolve deck because that's what I was doing before. Asteroid Barrage. And yeah, for that reason alone, I would almost say not to do it. Or I should just pick one and it'll be this one just because if it like lets you choose one. Yeah, I'll just claim it because I don't care. I just want, you know, I only care about Shaman right now because I'm going to buy a second Ner'Zhul hero skin. We got the fucking Thirst Trap one that we got here. Asteroid Barrage, I don't really care about though. Let's just play with this one. But yeah, unironically, I wouldn't use it just because I don't want to get spoiled on the StarCraft universe, but I'll see whatever other people using stuff like that. That is actually one of the hangups of mine. That's why I didn't play like Elder Scrolls Legends for so long, because I felt like it was, you know, it might spoil things about the universe. Even though I played the games, I haven't played them fully to my satisfaction, and I might never do that because I take my time and, you know, whatever. But any little minor spoiler could piss me off.
king.
Serve me in death.
This is like my 2013 Blast to the Past miniseries where I'm playing both of the games. This is just like very Evolve heavy stuff. Like in 2013 when I had the closed beta key for Hearthstone and I played GTA 5 and like I was deciding between which one to play, and I ended up playing Hearthstone a lot more. But you know, we were just doing GTA 5 just to kind of have some fun with the single player and see if we can. But I'm almost putting it to the test. Like, what is there to really do? It's actually quite a nostalgic thing, right? Because, like, I don't know, I was just playing those two at the same time and making that decision and deciding on Hearthstone to show you either I love card games that much or either it's that good or either something is disappointing about... Why does it seem all choppy? Like... I don't know, something seemed a little off. So put down the little muck pawns. This is just a bunch of evolve and transformation effects. After it survives damage, summon a copy. Not really the greatest interaction unless you have some support for it. Ragnarok, so everything is going to have to do with some form of transformation, either for even the enemy stuff. We may as well just give that a shot. I mean... We have nothing else going on. 3-2. If you're holding a Shadow Soul, deal 2. This would be kind of fun, actually, if I alternate. So, like, one day I'll do Hearthstone, one day I'll do... I'm doing both today, kind of, but... One day I'll do Hearthstone, one day I'll do GTA 5. Deal 3, activate. We'll see if he's using a bunch of new cards. The rune mechanic of Death Knights I never really liked because it's just kind of insular. I'm impressed that this community still does so well, though, because like that this category does so well on Twitch. I'm always very surprised by that, actually. I thought it would have died out years ago or, you know, diminished a lot, but... I don't know what it is, just the fan base, Warcraft universe, production value. I don't think it's really even that great of a game necessarily. Well, I can't judge it in its current state, but you know, obviously it's one of my favorite games ever, but just in its current state I'm not sure how much I would entirely vouch for it. Yeah, I just wanted to do this so I opened the door for me to keep an eye on the Ner'Zhul thing, and if it did come out and I missed it, then I just don't understand how, because they'll typically do that early, like, oh, maybe that'll come out with the next expansion, but I don't honestly know. 5-5. While in your hand, play 2 different spell schools to transform. Well, we obviously don't even get that. Many of the effects will go to waste with this, but that's still a good, efficient thing. Right, some of these values are pretty good with the cost. This thing is going to be hard to really get value out of, though, because you're not going to be able to guarantee anything. Or what we end up doing is playing bots most of the time anyway, probably. Which is unfortunate, but it still ends up being pretty challenging because of how shitty some of my gimmick decks actually are. And I'm not saying I couldn't make better gimmick decks. I just, like, you know, I'll still make a modern deck, but that's built around a gimmick. It's just, like, with better cards, newer cards, update them. But I just never have time to get around to that. But the idea behind some of these is quite fun. Like, obviously, the Evolve effect is very nice. I could do Ragnaros, actually. And the reason why I could do it is because it probably could work. Right, in the best case scenario, I guess it's the overload that I really can't afford, and if it had gone face, I would have been very upset too. Yeah, this is a trip back down memory lane, the 2013 saga of closed beta Hearthstone and GTA 5 that I bought a PS3 bundle just to play right when it came out. Right. That is really an iconic moment in my gaming life history. You're playing 2 games that you're hyped for, and you're really just getting into it. And even though GTA 5 was a bit disappointing with some of its mission design, you see, that's the kind of gamer I am. It's like if I want to play something, I want to be able to, I want to feel like I could play it forever, even if I don't even play it that much, right? Or even if I never play it, I want to feel like, oh, I could play it 1,000,000 hours if I wanted to, like this, or like an open world game, like even Skyrim or WoW or something. You could play it as much as you want, and you'll always have something to do, and it'll never get old. Whereas with something like GTA 5, I have to wonder, like, sure, you can do that with online, but I'm just talking about the base thing, like, oh, I can go around, wander around the open world, and always something interesting is happening, but that's not necessarily true. So, discover a minion, or choose a minion. I don't really want to I don't really want to transform though. We could do it with this one, I guess. Right, because that Ragnaros effect is going to be good no matter what. Deal 2 damage to enemy hero. Do that for the attack value, I guess. Sis thinks she's the social climber from fucking Magic the Gathering, which that game is always underrated as fuck on Twitch. Right, even combining all the games together. It's not just even a category for Arena. It's literally a category for everything combined, and still that, so... Okay, that's not a big deal. He got rid of Ragnaros. There's a couple fun interactions in here that I almost forget about. Transform your legendary minions into, or transform your minions into legendary, which sometimes that's not even that good, because again, legendary is very broad. Like, it might not even be that good, you know? You could do this, and you could do, you know what, maybe I'll do that. I'll do this, and I'll do this on only one of them.
I'm drop dead gorgeous.
I won't even worry about it. I mean, I could have traded into that, but if it's your opponent's turn, summon a 2/2 ghoul, which isn't really that big of a deal anyway, but you need like a number of things to stick so you can do a good AoE one. But yeah, this one is a lot worse than some of the other ones because it ends up being, again, you might get Blood Mage Thalnos or some shit like that that you don't want, right? But yeah, some of these decks are evergreen, very fun gimmicks. That the Azurite Rat, also known as Asmongold, when he was playing whatever the fuck expansion that came out in. Like, is this a real thing that was in the game? Like, is it some boss or what? Azurite is supposedly what came from Sargeras' sword, right? Or maybe something he did with that caused it to come out. Like, it's one of those plot device stupid things. Give it +2/+2 reborn and lifesteal. Some of the lore in the Warcraft universe is so good, but they sort of start to bloat it after a while, right? Like, it just goes on too long. Now, by devolving everything, that would at least still be good, right? It's not... Or I could turn them into Murlocs, which may or may not be a good thing, but... Or I could turn them into Murlocs and then devolve them too, but... Damn, if only I could do that too, but... Now I can't do it the other way, though, by transforming them into Murlocs. Or I guess I could, maybe. I should have done it the other way, because the majority of Murlocs are not going to be that big of a deal.
It needs time.
Right. Like, it's still bad, but it's not as bad as it could have been. With respect to, like... You know, if I had done it first, then I could have devolved them from here, right? And then they would have been really shitty, so that's a much better play. Right? They would have gone down to pretty much zero cost little wisps and all this kind of shit. The way I did it was kind of dumb. But I expected that to be good enough, but I guess the Sea Giant was kind of annoying. There's one of these that transforms the enemy's minions too, so the, like, Wave of Nostalgia was kind of a relatively new card in Perils in Paradise. And that was not the best because it transforms your opponents too, not just mine. So now... I've never really done too much with the Yogg-Saron deck itself. That's such a fun kind of random spell mechanic. I guess I said I'll play till I lose one game, but this might be one of the first times that I don't do like a proper full session of Hearthstone when I do it, but I'm sort of doing it almost like how I would play chess sometimes. I'm just so in between different series, I don't even know what to do at this point, but it's kind of nice. Right, I like the sense of freedom. Every once in a while, I'll go into like one thing and one thing only. Like the PvZ Heroes was so consuming, which it wasn't bad, but just, you know, it's a lot sometimes to take in. So there's probably no way that I can recover from this. I just can't. Random was the same cost. That's actually one of the best things I could have possibly gotten, though. Whenever it takes damage, so if I can just survive and make like copies of it, but it'll be, he'll definitely kill it, or it'll be so low that it won't be really worth it. But Is that really the best one to attack in with first, though? Because now it's going to kill that one. It otherwise wouldn't have just killed it if you just did that. But that proves it's a bot. Or maybe he wants to clear the board on purpose. He's strategically trying to kill as many of his things as possible. But he killed some of his stronger minions, so I don't see what he's keeping like this around for example. Literally getting clowned and creamed by a bot. I'm pretty low on health. You got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I just can't deal with big boards like this. Like even some of the devolve stuff doesn't really help where they're just gonna clown me. But now how is that for old school gaming? Like modern old school gaming though. Do a session of GTA 5 followed by a session of Hearthstone. Like that is actually pretty cool. Like I haven't done that probably since then, since 2013, where I did them both in the same. I mean, I never really played GTA 5 that much, honestly, but and you could transform them into legendary minions, and this could potentially save me. Or you could even do that, but let's see what we got. El'Thuzad, Kazakis, and Necrolord Draka. Equipped with 3/1 dagger, +1 attack for each other card you played this turn.
I greet you.
Little thirst trap clown that we got over here. Brain rot has invaded even Hearthstone, Warcraft universe. But you know, so many of the cosmetics are so stupid. I can't believe people actually buy them. Like I'll buy a serious good one, like even the Spectral Ner'Zhul. I don't mind doing that, but I guess I just don't get how the release pattern works with that. Like let me look. When is Emerald expansion, Hearthstone release date? Because I haven't played in a while, so it's going to be Tuesday, March 25th. But that could be... Why is this on Sports Illustrated? What the fuck? Oh, Esports Illustrated. Like, is that going to be when it officially comes out? Or is it somewhere before that? I have no idea. I forget how that whole thing works. Like, they'll show it there, but... Into the Emerald Dream. Okay, we get it. He obviously wins. It's fine. One of these days I gotta actually do something meta and serious, but I just don't, I hate when they don't give you a ton of feedback with that. Like now I'm just paranoid because normally I never pay attention to stupid things like that because I don't care about avatars, but I've been literally hounding for this one where, something is taunting me. Sounds like he's very aggrieved by that. Like, oh, are you taunting me, little unworthy mortal? So yeah, that's fine. So we could do a little mini series on this to prepare for the arrival of Ner'Zhul, which I still don't really get it, and I'm sure that in pre-release Brawl, that's not going to be for like another month, but maybe before that you'll get Ner'Zhul. It's a good way to get people like even me to keep logging in or keeping track of the game, but I don't know how exactly it works. It's definitely from the shop and not the reward track though, so okay, see you later. Okay, so here I'm going to do a random session of Hearthstone. I haven't played it much lately. In fact, the only other time I did recently was a few days ago where I just went in to see if I could buy the Spectral Ner'Zhul or not. That's kind of the one I asked for, but it's not really him frozen in the armor. And maybe I'm wrong for even considering, oh, that should be a Death Knight skin. Like him frozen in the armor before he fuses with Arthas. I guess at that point he wouldn't be considered a Death Knight, he'd be considered a Shaman still, right? Even though you don't think of it like when he's giving orders from inside the Frozen Throne, but whatever. This is the closest one you're probably going to get to that, so I don't mind it. Obviously, Ner'Zhul in any form I want it, so I forget how this works with their releases, but that's literally the whole reason why I'm playing this, just because I was paranoid and I want to check it, and I don't want to keep looking it up, so I'll just see if I can get it. But in honor of that, I will play as the Shaman Evolve gimmick that I was using before, and so one day I'll have enough time to actually make some more gimmick decks, like with more modern cards and stuff, but generally I'm a little bit lazy and I just kind of keep using the same ones over and over. Mythic Foulfire Ragnaros, which looks okay, I guess. Now that one I don't really care about. Right, I'm saving my money for Ner'Zhul for whatever it's going to be worth, and it looks okay, but I mean some of these are just nonsensical. And I wish you could earn these rune stones at $60. I would never buy that. Thankfully, all the ones I typically have wanted have been... Whoa. Wait, why are there so many of these? They're really milking it at this point, but it's like... Thankfully, most of the ones I want typically aren't in a bundle or something like that. They're just kind of by themselves, right? Like the Clown Face Arthas and some of those other ones. So I played a little bit at the beginning of at the beginning of the Great Dark Beyond, but then I stopped playing around there, right? I think, and then yeah, I returned briefly for like a couple episodes. So it's not been sort of a clear, consistent series that I'm doing. But no, I want Ner'Zhul, and I think I didn't play during the StarCraft thing at all, right? Like I strategically skipped that, let's say. But yeah, I don't get exactly when they release it. Will it be when the next expansion comes out? Because it's kind of like it's in the game, as in like, you know, it's in the game if you go to the avatars, but it's not in the shop yet. So I couldn't have missed it, I don't think. But maybe I should try this Asteroid Barrage one just to try. I don't want to spoil myself on stuff from StarCraft because I've never played it. Like, that's what these games unironically can do. Like, I wouldn't say that you should play Hearthstone if you've never played any of the games in the Warcraft universe, because it might trivialize the material to you a little bit, right? It'll show it in some kind of cutesy, stupid way that that is kind of the one that I've been asking for. But I guess I was wrong in my premise. As much as I say I like Ner'Zhul so much, I kept saying that, oh, the one frozen in the armor should be a Death Knight skin, and I want that for Death Knight, but maybe I didn't realize it, right? So they listened to me, clearly. They must have heard it from me, but it's like, it makes sense that they would, you know, whatever. At least they're doing it, but it makes sense that it would be a Shaman, maybe, and not a Death Knight, which is still fine with me, but you know, you kind of forget that, because at that point he's sort of in between, right? Is he really still a Shaman at that point? I guess that was sort of the whole point of it, that a Shaman and a Shaman and a Paladin combine and make a Death Knight. That was sort of the point, and that's why the two factions are like that. Like, oh, you know, the Horde exclusive race, class, and the Alliance exclusive race combine to, I'm just being sort of paranoid that I somehow think I'm missing it. Like, but no, I assume it'll release when you actually get to do that. Maybe I will try it. So like, I'll play as this one till I lose, and I'll play as that one till I lose, just for the fuck of it. So that'll at least be with some of the newer cards that I'm not even familiar with. And I always love playing in Wild because it's just more variety of cards. Obviously, a lot of these gimmicks are, you know, so I have like every evolution card in the game up till probably Perils in Paradise or whatever, right? And so anything after that, maybe I haven't looked at, but you got the old school classic doppelgangster. But I don't know, I should do this or not. Like, this would be a good combo for like a turn 5 battle cry and quick draw. So the quick draw obviously isn't going to work now. It's all about the random effects, the transformations, even for, so we're using the Ner'Zhul as a placeholder now, the Thirst Trap Ner'Zhul. But you know, it's a game that doesn't always pay respect to its great lore characters and figures, and even some of the expansion ideas they just pull out of their ass. Some of the characters, like, they're really milking the game at this point. As somebody who loves the game and, you know, always considers it one of my favorite games ever, it's just in a weird state. And I'm even encouraging it by buying microtransactions, even though I'm normally the last person to do that. Deal 2 damage to all minions, summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton. You gotta wait almost till turn 5 here. You make this happen, and it's sometimes worth it to use it on the totems, because even though the totems are 1 cost, even though it costs 2, which is unfortunate, that might be the best you can get with this. At the end of it, we're both trying to role play as each other. I was gonna play a mage spell, she was gonna play a totem. Transform enemy. We could do the 4 cost for this, but while in your hand, this transforms while, I don't know. I don't really want to do that because now it may or may not stick around long enough for me to actually evolve it, but I would have a certain etiquette here where I would do the evolves regardless whether they were optimal or not. Like, I just want to do it for the sake of doing it. So I could devolve those to obviously effectively silence them, but I'm not sure that I really care too much about that. I guess I could do both. Or, I mean, I could combo that for the next turn. Would this really be worth it at this point, though? It doesn't feel like it. What if we, maybe I'll do this, and then if I'm not satisfied, if I'm not satisfied with what I get, I could re-roll it again, right? Or so these are just like well statted. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a coin. Let's go ahead and do this one. Deal 6 damage randomly split among all other minions. Your opponent can, I mean, obviously these won't even matter. This one's okay, I guess. Yeah, this is like a mini nostalgia series, kind of in a way that I'm playing the 2 games I played, like I said, at the end of 2013, which was obviously closed beta Hearthstone and GTA 5 on PS3 when it had just come out. So it was quite the memorable story. That's one of my favorite gaming stories ever, that I chose to play ultimately Hearthstone and not GTA 5, because either I just don't like console, or I like card games so much, or I like Warcraft universe so much, or just GTA 5 bored me with like the mission at the docks with Trevor and some of the kind of stupid heist setup that wasn't really all that fun. Your opponent plays a minion, so I should probably do that. And then I can also, I could do this Heronite Chain Gang, but now it seems like an overcommit a little bit. Like, what if I just wait it out and see what happens? Yeah, this is one of the most fun mechanics in the game, and as much as I sometimes criticize internal RNG in a card game, like for, oh, there's already enough randomness with the order in which you draw the cards and stuff, you don't need effects that are random too, but then you do get into that because, look how tiny that looks compared to how it normally does. Like, the RNG can be fun in a certain sense, especially when the value is guaranteed. Like, okay, it increases it in cost, so that doesn't always mean it's a good thing, but it'd be like this, you're getting a higher cost thing, and you're also, like with the Renounced Darkness, you're getting something at a discount. So those kind of mechanics are okay, and you're not even saying that they're necessarily good, but they are kind of fun. So it's almost like they know what my secret is, but it doesn't matter. So let's just try to dump these coins, because otherwise they're gonna fuck me over too much. I don't even want to use them necessarily, but it's I don't even want to do anything, like, unless they're gonna do something here. Right, I'm just doing that just to dump the coins because I don't have room in my hand. I don't want to overdraw. This thing is actually really insane for evolved purposes, but this shows you like the power creep aspect. What would you have to do this normally, right? You would have some crazy combo that would be much more difficult. This guy, you just wait till turn 10 and you just do it. You just do it, like, that's it. Or not so much that you have to wait till turn 10, but I mean, you have to play this and then do it. So you get it for free, and then you can fill your board with 10 cost things that are obviously going to be there. So let's clear this shit up a little bit. Now I can do that's fine. So we'll do this, and that should be a decent board. It didn't get the effect on theirs, at least, to see what that's going to be worth. But deal 8 damage randomly spent among all enemies. I love the idea of something like this being in the meta too, which to some extent there are times where decks like this, mechanics like this, make it into the meta a little bit, but it's kind of like, and the death rattle actually benefits me too, so maybe I wouldn't even want to do that. But you should be able to do this now. So let me just ignore his shit, and then I can devolve it anyway, assuming that that would even be a big deal. Or I missed an attack in there too. Right, like maybe I shouldn't have done that, or I maybe should have. These make for great fodder for the evolution, because you'll get, 2-3 costs for 3. You'll get 2, 4 costs, so you combine that and then do something. So the clown is also in there. So we have so many good ways to make this happen. Right, like there's so many opportunities for good evolutions, even though it's a little bit slow and crappy by today's standards. Yeah, I'm literally doing this just because I was curious about that. That was the whole interest in me playing this again. So it's sad that, whatever. It's a good excuse to play it, though. Literally, this episode is dedicated to my desire to get that, which I don't know still when it's going to come out. Like, let me actually Google it. And I tried to do that, but it didn't tell me anything. Like, maybe I'm just not familiar. Like, it'll be when the next expansion comes out or what. Like, I don't know. It should be more clear. Like, I've looked in the shop. I just don't get it. It doesn't tell you anything of when, you know, available, you know, you can buy it from the shop, but I'm not even doing that to BM. I'm literally just not even paying attention. I don't know if that's actually supposed to be Sylvanas or what, but it looks so much like her. We're getting a star bonus, even though that's like our first game that we're playing. What did I even do the last time? I must have just played one game and like lost. Which again, I did that session too. Like, I was in the middle of playing like GTA 5, so that's been my kind of main series that I'm doing now, where I'm just kind of wandering around in the single player post story just to try to do something. And I want to use that to kind of warm up into doing the other parts, like, you know, I'll do the post story single player, then I'll do some kind of permadeath run, then I'll do some kind of online, then I'll do some kind of mods. Then I'll do some kind of GTA RP, maybe all 5 of those. You know, it's sad as sort of a pseudo RPer myself, but people, you know, whenever people get their hands on something, they can tend to ruin it. And I like the irony of saying, oh, that's like gatekeeping. It's like what people say in MMOs, like they'll misframe it like, oh, like you're telling other people how to play or telling other people they're playing it wrong, but it's actually the opposite. Everyone else is a fake elitist and does that, like, oh, they're telling new players who are playing the game for the first time that, like, oh, they're playing it wrong, and trying to get them to metagame min-max already in their first experience. And so it's the same thing here. Like, you're just you're not telling people how to RP, but it's the opposite. Like, they're the ones who are coming into a scene of RP, right? The big streamers and the community now that comes along with it. And that seems like a good thing on a surface level, but then it can be bad too, because you you kind of corrupt it with like, oh, well, we got to let the streamers in and make it more about them and their personality than the actual RP that's happening. Like, clearly that's secondary, because these, you know, with all due respect, like even people like XQC, he even admitted, I got to find that clip for my friend that wanted to post it. Like, he literally even says there in his own words, like, oh, I'm not an RPer. He was even making fun of it right when he was doing a single player playthrough of GTA 5, right? Many years back. And maybe you could even find it on YouTube, come to think of it, if it's still there, but I don't think it is. But no, like, he's not somebody who would be an RPer, and that's fine. But now, oh, he gets ushered to the front of the line. And meanwhile, people who have put so much effort into it and whatever and are more skilled at it, they do voices, they're voice acting, they're, you know, they have these elaborate stories and characters and consistency, and they've done it for years on some of these servers and different games over the years, and all kind of RP that they've done. It's like, I'm not saying that you use that to prevent someone like XCC from doing it, but I'm saying that you would you're preventing other people from doing it just for their sake, like no pixel, and I don't know, it just seems kind of annoying to me. It turns it into like a cloud chasing escapade nonsense. But no, I could do that absolutist character or some character who's espousing some of my things in the debate format, and I could turn it into like he's rambling on almost crazily, even though it's, you know, very good logical razors in there. I could play into that a little bit as an RP character. That is actually an amazing idea. It's annoying to do it sort of on the spot. Like, I don't know. I guess I could do it, but it's like everything that happens, I could identify the psychological process behind it. Like, yes, the stimuli acme is preserved whenever something sexual reference is happening, or, you know, that's just zero-sum means. They could have a logical razor for every situation, and like, whatever. This is okay. Man. In that case, I didn't really want to do anything because the rag is actually pretty good, but typically they have those 3 bundles in there for rag. The warlock rag, the shaman rag, and then the base rag are both together. Like, they're really trying to milk that. And that's what they even are in the phase of like re-releasing older things. Like if you bought the bundle for the Sunken Temple, it'll be like if you bought that, you would have gotten N'Zoth or whatever, and you have to wait years now before they finally release it by itself again. And for all minions and the legendary ones from the past, which I don't really want to do that, but I don't see in fact why you couldn't just do this. Doesn't seem like a bad idea, but I don't want to sit on Rag for too long. I want... Okay. Right, that's not the whole point of the deck, but if you get something you're really satisfied with, that's okay. So you could certainly increase their cost, but at this point I almost don't even want to, unless they start taking damage. But then I could do this, or I have that 10 cost card in here just for that reason alone, which is now when technically doesn't transform stuff, so it's not entirely a gimmick thematic thing. That actually helps in a way, because now I can choose... I mean, sure, I take damage back, but it's like that arguably helps me. Yeah, Duelist 2 is pretty good. I was trying to make a mini series out of that, and then I was clowning on Marvel Snap. So let me rank these 3 card games. Duelist 2 goes like number 1, seemingly, with the Fire Emblem style, very unique, grid based, etc. Right, and then number 2 would be like PvZ Heroes, even though that could also be number 1 because I played it more. But whatever, they're both in the top tier. Right, PvZ Heroes, it's a bit of an auto battler, but it's still pretty satisfying, pretty fun interactions, great visual design, sound design, you know, really a very good game in its own right. And then the bottom tier would be Marvel Snap, which is worse than both of those. They just sort of, a lot of mechanics are missing, basically. There's no trading on the board. It has to end in 6 turns, all this kind of stupid stuff. So we could evolve again, of course, from this, which this card is not very worthwhile to have, but I mean, it's still not bad. I mean, what is this other effect? It is whenever this, oh, well, I guess this is not relevant to me. We get 2 of those for the price of 1. Denathrius, obviously, with the lifesteal would be pretty cute. Not even a bad card. You know, you think it relies on his battle cry, but I love cards like this that are just so fucking stupid. Like, it's so dumb. They just ruin the game with, you know, these are power creep examples. Like, and then it only seems to make sense when you do other power creep, you know. Oh, but it's not that OP in the modern state of the game, but like the battle cry alone is enough, then the stats alone are enough, then the lifesteal alone is enough. Like, it's just too much. I actually don't have much to go on here. Oh, I didn't even have lethal, like... Yeah, whatever. We're on a massive win streak at bronze rank 9. And as usual, we tend to get hard stuck at silver 10. Right when you start to lose ranks. Because it's not that you can't win games, but then you win one, lose one endlessly like that. I don't know why I even am doing this, but... I find that kind of annoying, though, that it's a little unclear, or maybe I'm just unfamiliar. Like, they put it in the game. It shows you how little I played the game in recent years, or I guess I don't really care about cosmetics and stuff. I assume it'd be like... incoming 3D Ner'Zhul skin for Shaman, but that's actually the... Ner'Zhul was originally a warlock. Yeah, there's some maybe inconsistency with that. Like, he's supposed to be a warlock, he's supposed to be a shaman, he's supposed to be he just hasn't been. They're all kind of missing characters. Somebody asking on the Hearthstone Reddit like that. Ner'Zhul would make a good alternate warlock hero. Yeah, they're considering him a warlock, so he was never a warlock. He was an orc. He only used shamanistic magic. There is a bit of a fallacy like that within in the lore too. Like, every character who's evil or who uses magic in a dark way is always a warlock. Like, oh, you know, Sargeras is a warlock, and Archimonde is a warlock, and kil'jaeden is a warlock, and every demon is a warlock, and you know, like it becomes too bloated. Like, where not every character is a warlock in that way. right? Just because they happen to be using dark magic and stuff to do with demons, but all the coolest characters then would be absolutely, you know, warlocks, and it'd be sort of oversaturated. But no, Gul'dan is the warlock. So Ner'Zhul would be more like a shaman, even if he was using his powers for questionable things or whatever. But yeah, like being evil doesn't make you necessarily a particular class, but there is a bit too much of that, where some of the coolest and best and strongest lore characters would all be yeah, that's the joke I always made too. Like Sargeras uses a sword. Like, oh yeah, remember when a warlock uses a sword and stabs through a planet? Like, that's not something a warlock would do. That's just something a major lore character would do. Like, he's so powerful that it transcends any particular class. But it's like, right, so it transcends any class. So same thing with Anduin. Oh, Anduin uses a sword, like his father's sword. That doesn't mean that he's a warrior. He's just like a hero class. Like, yes, he's a priest, but he's also able to use a sword and do things that priests can't do, right? Just because he's so significant in the lore. So it's the same thing there. Like, Sargeras isn't just a warlock. He's many things. And we end up realizing that we're playing against bots probably most of the time here, but even if we are, it still ends up being almost a fair match because of how stupid and shitty this can be. So this one is potentially bad, right? Some of the legendary stuff, the wave of nostalgia makes their minions transform too, and this means that it could be lower cost ones. Like, it'll be a 2 cost, they'll have something strong out and it'll make it worse, right? So this card is often really hard to get value out of. The Undervalue Ooze, and then this one's okay, I guess, but compared to all the other evolution effects, it's kind of a little bit overrated. And then you have the ability to this one's very good. I maybe should have just coined that out, actually. Really putting all your eggs in the Frostwolf, what is his name again? Frostwolf Grunt basket over here. Okay, dude. The problem is I don't have enough minions out there. That's really what this deck relies on. You gotta have a fresh supply of minions all the time to be able to keep using the evolve effects on. Otherwise, it's not very valuable if you just do it on like one thing at a time. Your next spell this turn casts twice. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like the deck we're facing is very good either, but I don't know. I just kind of was doing this on a whim just because I wanted to indulge that, and I wasn't even thinking about the whole shaman aspects, which shows you I maybe don't like Ner'Zhul as much as I thought. But I didn't play, obviously, the older games like Warcraft 1 and 2. Just his presence in Warcraft 3 alone was so interesting, that he's so smart and he can practically seem to see the future. The way that he's like predicting everybody's moves, including even the Burning Legion itself, right? Like he kind of embarrasses Archimonde and kil'jaeden like what they're planning. Like, he's in the background, but then he ends up, you know, emerging as an underdog in a way that is kind of weird. Like, I don't know what to do. I should have done that. I don't have enough minions out there, so I just can't do anything. Right, I don't have a way to really inflict damage to that myself, and some of the devolve effects can certainly be good used as an effective silence if you can just you can do it in such a way that, I mean, if it's not a bot, it's still, look how I'd still be in a pretty bad position to potentially lose, but not really. It's just like some of the value has to come in here now. I just need something to stick. Right, the problem that we're seeing in this game is that I can't get enough minions out there. Like, they're all, if you only have one thing out there at a time, it's very difficult to benefit from the evolve effects. Right, because in principle it's not it's not enough to, oh, I'm gonna evolve one thing, then it's not worth it unless you use like the Ragnaros one, but then that's so expensive too. Like this, oh, this would be great, but I have nothing out there to use it on, so we gotta get that shitty 10 cost card with overload, so we'd have to play it, then wait a turn, then play this, then evolve it, which we could do all in the same turn with this, but the overload can be a little bit annoying. So this would be good for the quick draw effect, certainly. And then we could do this again too if I'm not satisfied with it. Right, so now the value starts to come together. You have a lot of these options that allow you to do it in such a way that yeah, maybe Grim Patron could work in some way, that if you get enough of them out there you could evolve them all together too, but that seems like too much work. You have a lot of these that you can play and then they immediately are giving you multiple units at once, is the whole principle, obviously. Like the Murloc, the Serenite Chain Gang, the, you know, the little Doppelgangster, right? So there may be some new cards that fit into this too, but I guess I looked up till Perils in Paradise when I was probably doing this, so as my Gimmick Gauntlet series, so now I don't know about anything from the last couple expansions after that, but again, it's not like this is being done for equality. This is being done just for the gimmick and the mechanic to enjoy that. I really want to find that clip, but it'll be impossible to do. So the Carnival Clown I wouldn't even want to do. I could do that. I could make 3 copies of something. I mean, it would still be annoying. Like, you know, it would still be a pretty effective thing with all the healing and slows everything down. And it's not like, oh, that could fuck you up. For the rest of the game, your first card costs 0, you die in 3 turns. Like, this is where it can give and it can take away, right? That could single-handedly fuck me over, but I guess I'll just go till I lose as this one. I won't even bother with the other thing, but that StarCraft expansion leaves a bad, or mini set leaves a bad taste in your mouth, because now you're combining IPs together, and that's going to be the death of the game. Like, oh, Heroes of the Storm, what a great idea that was to combine the IPs. Like, you can't see the same. Not saying that's necessarily why it failed, but it sort of reeks of desperation in a way that you would. I almost want to do it too. Let's indulge it for. Oh, I fucked up though. I want this thing to actually be out there to potentially fuck me over. Like, I was trying to get that killed myself, and then I could do it. Like, I want to put that pressure on me to have to end the game in 3 turns, which should be easy because this guy's a bot. But he won't even let me enjoy that. But no, the next expansion itself is pretty good. The Emerald Dream, so that part I don't mind. But I do mind the fucking stupid ass thing. I do mind the one thing, which is going to be the mini set here was kind of dumb, the StarCraft. Because again, combining IPs like that just seems a little odd. Like, what are we gonna get now? A Diablo mini set too? For the next one or something stupid like that? I don't know. Like, it just seems really, really dumb. Right, that shows you the game is dying, or you could have said for a while that they're trying to do these gimmicks to maintain interest in a way. Yeah, I can't believe I bought so many of these stupid ass cosmetics. The 3-4-5, I can't really argue with that. You just need something to actually evolve them with, and a hunter could be dangerous because we might just get rushed down before I can even do this. But I don't like the feeling of how many bots you seem to be playing against, though. Right, or they could make the bots better effectively. Right, they just give them better decks and make them a little better AI, and it's not so bad. Because there's this assumption like, oh, just because it's a bot, it means they have to suck and it has to be super easy. Why couldn't it be a little more fun or challenging? Assuming, you know, if you're a really good player using a really good deck, it's not going to be challenging for you then. But if you're doing some gimmick like what I'm doing here, it could still be really difficult. So sometimes I even end up just evolving the totems at the beginning with like those single target ones, just because it's not really worth it to wait around. You know, you struggle with like the 2 and the 3 curve. Like, this part is difficult, so like I'll do this and now it'll waste it too. Right, I'm gonna be unable to get anything to stick for a while. But see, like, it's only turn 3 and I could have had 2, 4. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. At least that lets me replay it, but it's kind of expensive. It's hard to do these evolutions at the beginning, right? It's hard to get too many things to stick. Now, even if I do this, I'll miss out on the evolve because you're not... that would be actually... Oh, no, they only cost 1, though, but... Or wait, this used to cost, like, 5, though, didn't it? I like how they try to do that, too. They try to take old cards and keep them relevant by just doing that, reducing the cost by a substantial amount. It's like... Oh, like twisting nether, where in a way that's maybe a good thing. Like, oh, we'll just lower the cost of some of that to make it seem relevant. Because otherwise you just end up adding a new card that power creeps. Like, oh, we'll add a card with a similar effect that just costs less and does something better, and you'll keep doing that over and over. But when it's such an intrinsic essential effect like that, you would feel like, why not just keep the card relevant then, some of the old school cards, and just keep improving them instead of adding new ones that do effectively the same thing and just, again, feel like straight up base power creep. I'm not really even enjoying this somehow. I just kind of did it on a whim, but the way that I'm playing that GTA 5 series is kind of really slow and droning almost, but I kind of like it as a trying to give value to the single player. Right, which is unfortunate that it's so difficult to do that, but I'm trying to give it its due and almost try to 100% it, which would be insanely difficult and time consuming to do. So obviously you're going to that's a pretty perfect match for this though. You get to, I don't know, I need like another AoE thing. Or even if it was like turn 8, you could do this and then do that once on each one, but his music is so troll. Kind of annoying actually. Even though I do love Whizbang and everything he represents with the whole randomness. Those are 2 of my favorite cards, which aren't really cards, they're more like decks in and of itself. But if you control a lackey, deal 3 damage. Like the newer Whizbang that lets you use decks that don't even really exist, right, is a very fun thing. This is okay, I guess, for now. Or yeah, like doing the doppelgangster doesn't seem to make sense because it's like, right, the doppelgangster doesn't make sense, and the reason why is because I won't be able to get much value out of them. Maybe now at least I could do it for 2 of them, unless I get an actual AoE evolve, which I think somewhat the way I made this deck was like I have one copy of each thing, because I have 1 copy of each thing instead of having 2 copies of the best ones, right? So I might only have 1 evolve because I want to have like 1 of everything just for the variety of it, even if it's not good. And I hate this if you had to do this like every month. Oh, just play up until a certain rank before you get before you get to play players, but by the time I do, like, that might be all I play, so it punishes like casual or, you know, just like less frequent players that you're just kind of going in trying a couple matches with like a fun deck, gimmick deck, something like that. You shouldn't have to commit to it so hard to enjoy it. So that's the assumption, that's the insular assumption that a lot of gaming communities make. Like, you assume that people, that's the only game people play and they play it all day every day, so then that would alleviate most of the complaints, which is fine. I'm not going to criticize the game just because it's like this could be worth it, I guess. It could be a case where it shouldn't require that though either. Like, oh, World of Tanks, like you play bots the first several games, or what was I just doing that had the same issue? Like maybe Strenova, or maybe something else where you get that impression that, oh, the first several games you have to play bots and then earn the right to play players. Like maybe Marvel Rivals was like that, even though it didn't seem like it. But it shouldn't feel like you have to earn the right to play players in a game that's multiplayer focused, and you know, it doesn't matter. I hate this whole like voice chat implication that you always feel like you have to do that. 4, 5, 6. Let's do this one, and then let's do this one, and then let's maybe save that. What is this even? I guess I like the amount of effects that it has. It just leads to so many fun, you know, moments and weird interactions that you otherwise wouldn't see. You know, random equals fun, which to a degree, a lot of my gimmick decks, I must concede that, but it doesn't mean that it's always the best design, or it's not going to be good necessarily, but it can still be very interesting. Or like Renounced Darkness is such an iconic, amazing card. Zinazari, Explore on Goro, like I have all the gimmicks imaginable in such a good way. So let me do this just to try it. We'd have Kel'Thuzad, which means, oh well, I guess when you evolve though, it doesn't count as dying, so that's just like a flex final BM. I was gonna say, oh, those could come back again too, but yeah, let's just do this till we get the stupid Valentine's card back. I don't know, I'm not really even enjoying the session just because I did it on a whim and I wasn't really, but whatever. I'm opening up the gimmick decks like where I can do them anytime then, where I was trying to do it in like a structured order before, where like I only do one at a time and I do it over and over for like a whole month. But this is a very fun deck, but obviously this is one of the best gimmicks actually out there, where it takes less work, right? Some of them take a little more work to get them to be fun. This one's just fun on its own, and you don't really have to do a whole lot to make it interesting. This card, I don't even know why it's in there, but yeah, there's like no 2-cost cards that really fit into this with a similar kind of discovery gimmick mechanic, or like a different, you know, a 2-cost that summons a copy of itself or something like that is not really there. When your turn starts, summon a copy of your highest cost minion, which is okay, but when your opponent plays a minion, transform it into a 3/4 copy. So I guess I could do this. I mean, I'm sort of just desperate to try to make something happen. This is play a secret, which you might think normally I wouldn't have that as an issue, but what a fun chain of random effects. Like you get one random effect into another random effect that synergize together that would have both been impossible otherwise without the presence of the other random effect that you should have played around that synergy. Summon 4 zombies at the end of your opponent's turn. Add the copies of the cards they play to your hand. That could maybe be good for an evolution, but I don't know. Like if some of the bees survive, but then I don't know what exactly the bees are considered to cost. You have evolved, but I don't know about so much the AoE like potential here. Again, it's very hard to establish your board and get stuff to stick on there, but this is like the perfect mid-range dream come true mechanic too, in the sense that you feel like fuck, you feel like you're in a position to be rewarded for board presence and board control in a way that makes you feel like that's what mid-range is all about. You have a board and then you really ramp up and run away with it. Yeah, in the card game ranking, you would put PvZ heroes in the middle tier. You would put like Duelist 2 or Hearthstone or Magic, whatever, in the top tier. But you would put Marvel fucking Snap in the lowest possible tier ever. This is actually pretty worthwhile to do right now, I think, because they're going to just... I should always wait to see if some effect was going to happen there too. Deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. What a shitty card. those are all pretty bad to get. +1 attack for each card you've discarded this game, which wouldn't be a battle cry, so it would be still doable, but there's no circumstance where I'd have that happen. So now you could evolve them as well as this. Sometimes it's good to have another one in reserve that you could, like, if you're not happy with what you get, right, you still do it. So you could do this now and then do it again with that, assuming I'm not happy with what I get here either. Right, maybe should have done this first then. And then I could do it again if I'm still not happy with it. Sometimes you'll get an effect that actually fucks you over, but look at how many evolutions I did there, and the result was bad every time. These are all disappointing. Summon another arena patron. Bro thinks he's the grim patron, dude. It's you know, you're trying to play into the meme, but it's a shittier card than even that was all those years ago. But you could just use that as a power creep card design philosophy, like do the same thing over and over, and it's like just take the same card and remove a negative effect, or just make it better. Make the same exact card, but just make it better statted, lower cost, same effect with less limitation, or just a better version of the same effect. Like, it's so stupid. We could do a revolve. I could just ignore what he's doing. And of course that applies even to their own thing. But the evolutions in this game weren't really all that exciting, to be honest with you. It's very limiting. Sort of underwhelming. This is always fun to do against like random people too, like if they you know, you have friends and you make your own little tournament format and stuff like that. Like, I don't know to what extent that would be allowable to do. Look at that graphical bug there. I don't know what happened with that. But, yeah, like, if you were... Let me actually look that up as a topic, right? Let's see if you can, like, can I host my own Hearthstone tournament? Where I give out money or something. It's like, oh, you're just doing that for content for your channel or something. But it's like, that's the sort of thing I would do anyway. I did that with Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments back in the day. Like, I hosted my own. It wasn't like a big deal, but I would like encourage people to use like shitty decks, or like you had to use one of the decks from the show where some of the cards are even not real. And you could do it in an online simulator way. Like, it's sort of hard to explain, but like which anime duel would win, deck would win out of all the shitty ones that you see like in Duelist Kingdom. And a lot of the ones that actually do well in the show didn't do well in real life because they have such insular interactions. Like, oh, it only works because they get exactly the card they need to make this very specific interaction work. Otherwise it doesn't. So it's like, can I host my own Hearthstone tournament? As if anybody would care at this point. But I want to run and host a tournament for the community. If you were like a bigger creator, you could certainly do it. Request a Blizzard tournament license. Want to host a tournament. You're planning to organize it, you must do that. The tournament's team would like promotional items to reward the winners. I don't even want promotional items. Like, what if I... Blizzard community content license, let's see. You may not organize esports competition with any Blizzard product outside the terms below. In order to fall in line... Why does it have to be esports, though? Why can't it just be a random person doing it? Like... I hate that. Like, you should just be able to do whatever the fuck you want with it, but... Like, let me actually show this just as a principle of, like... Look at how much shit you'd have to go through to do this. If you were some bigger creator, I'm sure they would encourage it, no problem, right? But the value of prizes must not exceed 25,000, not exceed 100,000 for all the events during a 12-month period. Applicable laws, if you charge, that I wouldn't charge anyway. So like, let's see which ones I wouldn't meet. It wouldn't be this much, obviously. I don't have that much to fucking deal with. There'd be no entrance fee. Anybody could compete. I would just have to do it in an organized thing. Like, I'd have to decide who's competing and how many people and set it. The title of your competition may not use league, contender, champion, champ, championship, or any combination of these words. That's weird. Is that that would like sort of overlap with something? I don't know, but it wouldn't be that. It would just be like tournament, gimmick deck tournament. Broadcasting. You may broadcast your competition online and may stream on which. Okay, that's good. You may not charge fees of any. Yeah, okay. If you broadcast it, you are responsible for ensuring chat is. Oh god. Okay. You may not broadcast on television. Yeah, who fucking uses that shit anyway? You must follow the Blizzard video policy. I don't know what that even is. It's not collegiate or high school. I wouldn't do that. So basically all of this I wouldn't do anyway, but on site, you may charge fees for spectators to watch the competition in person, really. Trademarks, go in person to watch it on a screen, right? What a great advertisement for esports. This was my absolutist roast of esports. Like, go there in person to watch it on a screen. How exciting, right? I want to travel hundreds of miles to go to an esports tournament so I can watch them play in person on a screen, the same sort of screen I could watch like at home, right? Different than sports, which they're at least physically actually there and doing it, which is similar to like my roast of astrology. Like, oh, you know, imagine blaming celestial objects for your personal problems. But some of these classic lines from debates and different things in the past that I had done. Charge for that, trademarks, each game's branding licenses, fine, crowdfunding. Oh my god, gambling, broadcast, competition cannot be sponsored by any company. Like, maybe I should do it just as a. But see, I have such a small following that nobody would join it. Like, who cares? Revenue organizers. You may not retain that. You may not receive. Bro. Rules should promote a fun thing. Competition. So, like, I would have to. If competition promotes or represents anything contrary to the core values. Look at this, dude. Just to do, like, oh, I want to offer $100 to people for playing with these gimmick decks and see who wins. And, like, dude, this is. Look at how much. Oh my god. Deemed evidence of your agreement with the terms. Audit your books and records. Holy shit. It's just so much. It's so much effort, man. Any questions? Like, now, do you have to still apply for the thing? Like, ask them, or can you just do it and assume that you may not without any? Like, I don't know if that means you still would have to ask them to. I kind of am curious. I would just want to see. But again, the problem with that too is you would need a bigger community to do stuff like that. And the reason why is like, okay, they'll give me permission and then I won't be able to find people to do it because I'm a clown, right? Then nobody knows who I am. So, okay, see you later.